Yeah, what do you think about today's live music, or metal music, I should say, the more modern bands? I know Lamb of God singer Randy Blythe takes part in your 2007 song Skull and Bones from the Immortalis album. Lamb of God and other bands, your thoughts about them?
Well, you know, I think, you know, it's really necessary to know where you came from. I think that that's the only way you can know where you're going. And I think that, you know, my experience with Randy and the Lamb of God guys was obviously they know where they came from and what they were cut from. So therefore it gives them probably good direction to where they're going. And they were fans of, I mean, Willie and Chris were huge fans of the original thrash scene, as was Mark Morton. And Randy is about as old school a guy you can get. If it's old school, he wants it. And he wants to possess it even for a second, to experience it. And, you know, it blew my mind when I met him, where, you know, we're on the Gigantour, and, you know, it's the second day, and I'm having coffee, and he's like, dude, I'm all over that song, Old School. I'm Randy Blythe from Lamb of God. I said, oh, you know, nice to meet you, admire your work, etc. I said, if you're all over, should I set up a mic? He goes, stage left, I'll be there.
Nice.
He never missed a performance. It wasn't just one-shot deal. He would stop interviews and come out. So I think that, you know, when you got people with that kind of passion for what they create versus what other people create and want to be part of that, I think it's the real deal. And I think that that's when a band or a group of individuals actually know where they're going. And I kudos to them.
Yeah. Now, another modern band that has seen some success and obviously is influenced by you guys is Avenged Sevenfold. A lot of people may notice a resemblance between Avenged Sevenfold's skull logo and Overkill's origination of that logo. So just lay it on the line here, Bobby. Imitation in the sincerest form of flattery, or is it a case of blatant ripoff?
Imitation.
Yeah.
I think so. You know, I mean, I don't have the market cornered on what they can do. You know, it's quite obviously we've talked to them about it, and they've talked back to us about it, and you know, we've come to an understanding with regard to how they should use it and how we should use ours, and you know what was here first and what's, you know. But there's, you know, you don't corner the market necessarily on a skull with bat wings, and you know, it was, you know, in this case, it was just something that was, well, I don't know. I mean, nobody ever said "fuck you, guys," so it was always kind of amicable,
yeah.
and just, you know, simply agreed upon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good segue, because speaking of "fuck you," obviously it's one of the best and most popular songs in your set over the years.
Sure.
A lot of people may think that is an Overkill song, but it's not. So tell the viewers out there a story about how that came across as far as in the recording process and playing it live.
Well, we were exposed to it the first time from a band, a Canadian band, DOA. But DOA was actually a punk band. This was a cover they were playing.
Okay. And
we did a little more research, and it was written originally by a band out of Vancouver called Subhumans. And Dee Dee and I were in Montreal to see some kind of one of the original thrash fests with Voivod and Celtic Frost, and the night before on a strip called St. Catharines, which is kind of seedy, we happened into a club and saw DOA playing "Fuck You," and we're blown away by it. You know, I mean, it was more of a slam dance kind of a situation than it was, you know, metalheads. But we incorporated it in the set soon thereafter. It was just something that we said, this is too good not to be metal.
Yeah.
You know, so. But originally written by the Subhumans out of Vancouver, and actually a guy, the original singer in Annihilator's name is Randy Rampage, and he came from the band Subhumans when they wrote "Fuck You."
Okay. And I remember Annihilator, Fire in the Hole, I believe. Or no, that's Last Rocket, my mistake. But yeah, I remember those guys too.
Yeah.
And last time I talked to you in November, as I said earlier, you were cooking during the conversation.
Yeah.
Blitz's wife owns a chocolate import candy shop, I believe, and Blitz does all the cooking in the household while she's working. At the time, there was a heavy metal cookbook that was being worked, and it hadn't come out yet. Now it's out. I know drummer from Armored Saint, Gonzo Sandoval, is also in there, I believe. What can you tell us about the book now that it's out?
It's a Simon & Schuster. It's called Mashed Potatoes. My recipe is a tarragon salmon. Either can be grilled or baked. real simple preparation. Takes about 15 minutes of prep and 20 minutes to cook, and it's just mind-blowing. It's I love feeding it to my my father every time he comes up. My parents come up to the house, and all he says is as he's eating, it's like gourmet. It's like gourmet. So I dig it. I mean, you know, I always liked cooking. I'd lived by myself for a bunch of years before Annette and I were married, and you know, started getting into the sauces and cooking with wines and fresh fish, and you know, making sauces for pasta that were a little bit different than you could just buy. So when Annette and I got together and we started this chocolate import business, she was out a lot. So I remember opening the Christmas present one Christmas, and I said, "Wow, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be like a garage door opener, or maybe like, you know, Fowler washer." And I ripped into it. It was all pots and pans. I'm like, "This is not very metal. You don't tell anybody about it." She goes, "But you're good." So from there, once I got the right tools, we've progressed. Yeah. We're actually to the point right now where I'm redoing my house to make it a gourmet kitchen. I'm really obsessed with it.
Well, final question, without giving too much away, what can people expect from the show tonight?
You know, it is what it is with us. I mean, you know, as we were talking before, you know, it's all about the journey. This is another step to wherever we're going, but it's obviously the most important step for today. And I think that, you know, Overkill always keeps that in sight. You get, you know, to say 100% overkill, that's a really good thing. Not like, it's just not, it's not commonplace, it's not the norm. It's something that leaves an impression, you know, maybe kind of a boot print on the brain, you know, but it's about what we're about. And 100% overkill is the only way we'll tour. I mean, once it stops being that, I won't. So I think you can expect the best.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, there you have it from the man Blitz Ellsworth, Overkill, live on the tour bus in Austin, Texas. This is Nanda with the Examiner.com, signing off.
Badass.